This week at Bungie's here, there's a ton of information. There's a link down below to the full article, lots of creators and Reddit. A lot covered this week at Bungie. I do sometimes the full thing, but this one's going to be specialized. We have 6 new exotics that were revealed. I thought it'd be good to break these down with the information that we have, and it should be fun. I have them ranked, because I read the article. I started thinking, if I do rank them, we can look back at this initial ranking, see how they landed once they're here, and also some potential counters to some of them already. We have a new game coming. Some of these look incredible, but some of them I do have some questions about. Let's get into it. At number 6, the Hunter Blight Ranger helmet. We saw a recent reveal of this, and I don't know, guys. On paper, I just can't get fully on board. I feel that this is going to be more beneficial once 3.0 of Arc comes out, but on the surface here, it has the Voltaic Mirror perk. Players can deflect incoming projectiles for increased amount of damage and create orbs for allies. Now that's a new thing. We just got the information for orb generation as a secondary perk. So think about Ursa, think about Middle Tree Titan Shield blocking, creating orbs. That's what Whirlwind Guard's getting ready to do. Arc Staff is on a tier 3 super, 628 at tier 10. There are some good super exotics in this game, Ursa being a really good example, powerful ones, but with Arc Staff, you have 2 main ones, the Raiden Flux, which is mostly for top tree, but it's for Arc Strider, quick successive attacks with Arc Staff increases damage and duration, and then for Middle Tree, the beast that is Raiju's Harness. You can deactivate the Whirlwind Guard, conserving your super energy, and when you're guarding, it doesn't consume extra super energy. So this new one, I don't see it too useful in the Crucible, especially compared to the other 2 exotics that we already have, because the damage deflected currently is 1-to-1 and that's enough. Like if you're in range and somebody shoots a fusion rifle at you, you're gonna down them. Someone pops a Blade Barrage, you deflect it back, you're gonna down them. In PvE, that's a different story. You're gonna wait a little over 6 minutes, about 6 minutes to get your super, then that's gonna be your time to shine. Now, if the damage is substantial for that deflection, paired with the creating orbs for your fire team. Now, the amount of orbs is also critical to kind of come to the conclusion of overall usefulness, but the tree also has Whirlwind Guard. After you deflect something, the actual Arc Staff deals triple damage. So you have those 3 main characteristics. Deflecting, it's going to create orbs for your team. Deflecting back the projectiles, it's going to deal more damage. Don't know if it's 2 times, 3 times, whatever it is. Then after you deflect within the tree, the Arc Staff does triple damage. It sounds niche, who knows? Maybe there's going to be a boss or a champion that's just going to be throwing out projectiles. You can aggro them, box them out, get really close, just guard. Get, let's say, within 10 meters of them, they're going to kind of focus on you. You're going to be creating orbs at your feet. Any projectile that's thrown at you, you're deflecting back for more damage, and then you have the increased Arc Staff hits. I just don't know at this time, guys. It's a toss-up. It looks niche, though. At number 5, the Warlock Gauntlets, the Fervid Cold Snap. You get 2 Cold Snaps, and I want to be clear. I don't think that this is going to be bad. A lot of people are kind of looking down at it. I don't think so. I think there's a lot of potential here. And it even could be within the top 3 of this list when it's all said and done, because you get an additional Cold Snap. It's going to recharge faster when it makes direct impact on an enemy. And the Seeker spawn from the Cold Snap, it's going to travel further. The Cold Snap has a 55-second cooldown at tier 10. When you look at the stasis kit, Ice Flare bolts, shattering a frozen target spawns Seekers that track and freeze nearby enemies. Whisper of Hedrons is back on the table. It's very different from where it started, but it gives increased stability, mobility, resilience, and recovery after freezing. It could be a constant loop in PvE, and it could pop up all the time in the Crucible. Not to mention Bleak Watcher, I would assume. I mean, it's a longer cooldown. You can get 2 charges for that. It stays up for a long time. You should be able to loop them back to back. And that's not even considering if you have something like a Demolitionist weapon. This has high buildcraft potential, because if these things are aggressive, they do seek. It's kind of comical. Things like bonds, getting more super energy on defeating frozen targets, that's going to work better. PvP, Hedrons could possibly be a constant buff of stability, recovery, and more. They could be really good. I do have high hopes. I'm not knocking at it. I do have it at 5 because the ones that we go on from here, I think, have potential more gains and more build potential. At number 4, the Titan's Hoarfrost Z chest piece. Glacial Fortification. When you're on stasis, it allows the Titan barricade to become a glacier wall. It's going to slow targets that get close to it, and while next to it, you and your fire team get increased reload speed, stability, and range. Big advantages here. It has the rally barricade window. All of these benefits, I have to wonder, can you be a little bit to the side of the barricade for it to work, or do you have to be in the middle? But regardless, I'm going to test the range stability, reload gain, see if anything's changed there, but think about it. Imagine you have 3 stasis titans in the Crucible or PvE. Let's talk about PvP. Each of them have a glacier grenade, each of them have the barricade, each of them have Howl of the Storm, that aspect that can spawn the little glacier grenade. That's 9 total. And sometimes these abilities, especially with 3 of them, even if it's just you, one character, a good amount of the time you can have a Glacier Grenade out. Now with that Glacier Grenade, it's a crystal. You immediately think Whisper of Chains. So when you think about it, you pop the barricade. You have cover, you have increased reload, stability, range. You now also have damage reduction. The whole setup. Then you have things like Rhyme. When it's about to be over, break the crystals, you get little overshield. Then you have shards. You also have grenade regeneration. Guys, crazy. Literally the exotic name perk. Fortification. It's a fort. I think it's going to be great. It also has a nice revive capability now. Like in a GM, if you were to ever run Behemoth there, maybe you're picking up a Revenant Stasis Hunter. You're going to have the crystal blocking damage. When you're both up, you're also getting damage reduction if you both have on chains. PvP, same thing. Even if your team isn't running Stasis, you're going to get that revive. You have DR. The overshields are there. Crazy. Also note, a hard counter to this is going to be a Hawkeye weapon, the Hawkeye Breach Armaments. This weapon deals increased damage against vehicles, turrets, barricades, and stasis crystals. Word of the wise, if this barricade becomes popular in the Crucible, find a good archetype slaying Hawkeye weapon. Because otherwise, regular ammo, it takes like 3 to 4 shots from something like an Ice Luna or a Palindrome. You could use a special weapon, like one sniper shot will take out a crystal, but you're wasting special ammo. The full kit though, this looks amazing. It looks like you could do a lot with that barricade. At number 3, the Hunter Renewal Grasps. This could be in the top 1 or 2. Gives Guardians a much longer radius for the Dustfield Grenade. It also nerfs incoming damage for allies within the Dustfield range, and enemies within the Dustfield deal out reduced damage. Straight up, let's remember, the Dustfield is one of the fastest grenades of the game. Tier 10, 29 seconds. It's going to give a much larger radius. Makes you wonder if that's going to stack with the Touch of Winter Fragment, because that gives the Dustfield increased size and the small crystal. That small crystal is very important because you can break the crystal, Whisper of Shards, get the grenade energy. You could have DR with chains. It's already at 29 seconds. You can break that crystal, get it back faster. Then you have Torment. So when you receive damage, you get grenade energy. Then you have Demolitionist weapons. A grenade that gives damage reduction. It says that it nerfs incoming damage for your allies if they're near the dust field. Will that stack with Whisper of Chains? Say you have that little crystal in there and your teammates are on stasis or you're on stasis, is it a double DR? A grenade that could potentially come out every 20, 21 seconds. That's massive. Then you're gonna have the enemies that are within the dust field. It's kind of suppressing them, think PvE and the Crucible really. They're not doing full damage from inside that dust field. Then you have things like Durance for your slow to last longer and to linger. Straight up, it could be one of the most powerful things. It really could. PvE and PvP, it could be a problem. There are some builds I have in mind for this, and others on this list, of course, but this one looks strong to me. I know that the dust field isn't viewed as strong anymore because it doesn't have the vortex, it doesn't have a lot of things, but this added on top, it's a new ball game. It's an accumulation of that grenade being fast, the buffs that it gives, the aspects and fragments you can add on. It looks awesome. At number 2, the Titan Lorelei Splendor Helm. Looks gorgeous, first of all. There are 2 parts of this exotic. First, Carterizing Flame. It allows sunspots to heal players when they have Sun Warrior. Now that's kind of muddy. It reads as one of 3 things to me, and all of these are good. Whichever one it ends up being, it's good. Because let's remember the tree. Sun Warrior, for it to proc, you need a solar ability, charge melee final blow, solar final blow. There are things like the Toaster, there are things like Polaris Lance. You can get a sunspot going. Now, Sun Warrior, once you're in that sunspot, you get benefits. And in the Crucible, with Sun Warrior active, each final blow will leave a sunspot where you down the enemy. And in PvE, it's on a point system. So, sunspots heal players that have Sun Warrior. It could read that the sunspot could kind of work as a healing rift, right? It allows sunspots to heal players when they have Sun Warrior. You're going to have it immediately once you get in. And within the sunspot, you have the increased grenade, melees charge faster, you get more damage to your weapon, the super lasts longer. The second way it reads is it's going to be a passive heal because you're going to have about a 5-second timer with Sun Warrior. It could slowly give health. And 3, it's going to heal you on final blows. You get damage, you're going to get the down, it's going to kind of heal you like Devour. All 3 of these could work. But the second part, it says critically wounded, no big, the perk also ensures that a sunspot is created at your location. That reads one of 2 ways. The actual terminology, if critically wounded, meaning you get into low health, red health, your shields are dropped, it could either mean A, it's just going to drop a sunspot for you, granting Sun Warrior immediately, because you're on the tree. So if someone gets close, they're going to get burned. You have more damage on top of that. You can use it at a distance. Maybe you're peak shotting far away and somebody gets you critical health. They just gave you a sunspot. But the other way, which I think it's how it's going to work, is that it's going to be similar to Stag. That creates a healing rift on death. This would be brutal to create a sunspot on death. Shotgun battles will tie like 80% more. Because if you prime them, leave them just a little bit of health, it will burn them out. That's also going to be massive for it. All of these ways can work. Any combination of what I just went over. PvE, PvP, it looks stellar. And not to mention creating sunspots with things like Polaris Lance. You can get a lot of chaining going. So pay attention to this one when it comes out. I have some builds already planned for it. At number 1, the Warlock Filament Armor. The Devouring Rift perk. It grants Devour when casting an Empowering Rift. So it's giving the Rift damage, but healing on a kill. It also has intrinsic overload capabilities. And that's where I believe it says where the ability to disrupt foes, that's where that comes from. It's gonna work on overload. Amazing, specifically, as an example, with the new Child of the Old Gods aspect. Cast a Rift to summon a Void Soul. When you damage an enemy with your weapon, the Void Soul will launch itself toward and detonate nearby the enemy. It drains them, giving a little bit of damage, and it weakens them, it debuffs them. They're going to take increased damage from you already within the Empowering Rift. And as the Void Soul is dealing damage, it gives melee and grenade, if you're in a healing rift, but we're in an empowering rift. So that means it's gonna give a little bit of health. So there's an opportunity here that while you're kind of vulnerable in the rift, you don't have a final blow, this thing's getting little chunks of damage, giving you a little bit of health to keep you alive. Once you get the final blow, you're fully gonna have your health back. And as it's draining an enemy, it's giving you rift energy. Like, it all works together. Crazy loop. And by the way, things like the Sanguine Alchemy might see some more play with this aspect, the Old God aspect. It's been kind of a meme. It was decent, then it went to bad, but with something like this, it could actually be pretty good. Or it's gonna further cement itself as being just bad. So you have damage, you have health on kills, and if you combine something like Old God, you have a lot going on with that. Not to mention Wellspring and Demolitionist Weapon. It looks really, really good. The ability to debuff in PvE and PvP. And I would assume that this is for Voidwalker, right? But all they said is that you get Devour from an Empowering Rift. What if you can do this with Middle Tree Well of Radiance? That's just an observation. I don't think that it's gonna work like that, but if it does, that's an entirely different conversation at a later date. I think that these look great. It's one of the better, at least on paper, exotics that we've seen in a while. The 100 Deflect one, like I said, I need to see it. I need to get hands on it, but all of them really, I'm all in on, including the Cold Snap one. That's still going to be great in PvE. You're going to have a lot of bonuses, even in the Crucible. The Titan ones look stellar. Warlock is stellar. The 100 Dustfield one is low-key. Low-key could be a monster. I'm excited for them. I want to hear your thoughts, though. And on paper, how would you rank them? It's a fun thing to do, mind you. Let's have some fun with it. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about it down below. Thank you for watching. And until the next one, I am Coolguy.